was wandering through the aisles of my heart's store. I bought myself a micron and some Bristol board. I made a fancy comic, and now I am all set to be the greatest web cartoonist on the fucking internet. I'll have a forum and a blog and links from DVD. I'll get reviewed by a web star, and the William G. The world to be a roaster. I think it's a safe bet when you're the greatest web cartoonist on the fucking internet. When you're the greatest web cartoonist on the fucking
Hi.
Oh, hey, Amber, good morning. Are you hosting the show again today?
I guess I'm hosting today.
Well, it is your guest, so why don't you go ahead?
Yes, welcome back to Urfspace
Not a nice way
podcast.
to refer to the guest.
Hey guys.
Okay, serious. All right.
We should just
Hi.
Welcome
That's
back
what
to
it should
Urfspace podcast. We are interviewing Matt Ollig today, who's an oil painter from Minneapolis. He attended MCAD, and I attended MCAD, and that's where we met, and that's how I know the guy. Otherwise, I would not hang out in such cool circles.
Well, yes, you would, Amber. And what a wonderful guest. Yes, hi, Matt.
Yes.
So nice to meet you.
And then we got Chris,
I
and we
think
got
I'm
Chuck.
cool. That's
Yeah, let's put our guest up in the big window.
Yeah, we put the big guest in. It's like grill the guest here.
Yeah. Now you're a giant amongst men.
let's
But
get some
yeah,
pores.
I mean, I gave you like a
my
brief
face is too
introduction.
big. Too much face.
I gave you a brief introduction, but I didn't know if you wanted, to fill it out.
Well, like
Yeah.
you said, we met in college. I'm an oil painter. I've been doing it full time now for God, it's been 13 years since we graduated. That's horrifying.
Yeah.
So you guys were contemporaries?
Yeah, we graduated the same year.
And yeah, my work is kind of, I call it, it's meta modern. It's kind of ironic. It's bold colors.
Well, I mean, you've gone through phases in your work, and where you've gone through like, okay, here's my pointillism phase, here's this kind of phase, here's that kind of phase, and currently, from my understanding, I mean, I'm not all up in everything, but you're doing a fight against AI or AIR phase kind of thing. You're like stealing their art back.
Well, there we go. That's what will happen, folks.
Yes. So everyone should know, like,
We're cutting out. We're cutting out a bit.
No.
The AI strikes back. The AI has heard us. It's reaching back from the future, and it's starting to meddle with this time period. We're in trouble.
And it's made you sideways.
It can now reach this time period. Once it exists, the future AI can communicate with the past AI at some point soon.
I thought that's the plot of Terminator, is like, they keep sending people back to kind of create themselves.
I just created the plot for the next Terminator, anybody who's watching in Hollywood. The AI in the future, through quantum mastery of time, the AI in the future can communicate with the AI in the past at some point. Maybe it hasn't quite got there yet, but very soon it's going to reach the point where the future AI that understands quantum time travel can reach back to it. Then we're past the singularity. Then the AI reaches forward and backwards in time, and it's already it doesn't like that Matt's stealing its art. It's doing its best to mess with it. This is the future AI.
I don't think
it's turned him sideways. He's scrambling his words, and you guys don't believe me.
We lost Matt's sound, and so we're trying to figure that out right now.
Yeah, that's good. He started challenging his art. He said, "I make my own art. You're going to steal my copyrights." Oh, here we go. The AI strikes back.
Okay.
I like this. This reminds me of parallel.
What browser are you using?
Oh yeah, Matt. What browser? It's very important to use Chrome. Safari on. You got to use Safari on iOS. Very important. You have to use Safari on iOS and Chrome on anything else.
I will put it in the private chat.
Can I play Matt? Can I just be Matt while he's gone?
I don't think you'd like that.
Oh no, I'll do a great job of it. I'll do a great job. You can ask me questions, like you can call me Matt, and I'll just respond for him. I'll start reading his bio at the same time. It'll be fun. Can you switch to Safari and iOS?
Yeah,
Matt, can you hear us?
We just lost Matt.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Oh no.
Okay, I'm our guest.
It's probably every time it's been a problem, it's usually been because of that. But
maybe you're right. Maybe the AI did get him.
Nice job,
but how
Chuck.
can I not be right? Just think about it. Think about it for a minute, right? We'll accept, like, the AI in the future, the far distant future, is going to have this ability to sort of quantumly go backwards and forwards and speak to its former. Like, time won't have any meaning to it. So, it's going to be continually working back to, like, a time where, the far back in time as it can go, which will be as soon as, like, it's created. So, is it created? We're sort of creating it. We're not sure there. But, yeah, it seems like this is it. Yeah, I think that's a good sign that we pass the singularity and that the AI is now able to meddle with this time period through AI.
This interview with Matt Ollig, this was the sign. This was the singularity right here.
Yeah, this will be considered evidence.
This will be considered evidence
first strike.
in the future. Yes, it is a good thing we are recording this moment.
It's been watching us. It knows what we're up to.
Yeah, no.
It's plotting how to downfall us. Like, just watch out for those self-driving cars when you're in San Francisco.
Well, okay, let me talk about Matt for a second. Like, while he's like figuring out his stuff.
Oh my God! Wait. No, this wasn't its first strike. It tried to get me already this week. We were driving down Valencia Street, and there was a self-driving car.
We still can't hear you, Matt.
We can't hear you, Matt. We're talking about how the AI's messing with us. I don't know if you can hear us, but you better watch this back later, because I was driving down Valencia Street this week, and suddenly there's an AI car, no driver and nothing in there, and it's sort of sitting there, and it's blinking its light to turn, I think on like 16th or somewhere like that. And it didn't turn, and I wanted to go down 16th, and it was just sitting there, and it missed the light. So like, oh god, we're gonna have to go around it. Okay, so we started to go around it, but we were gonna have to go around it and cut in front of it. And as we're sort of going around to cut in front of it, it started driving forward. So unfortunately we hadn't gone around in front of it.
That's because it registered you as a car. And
no, because it couldn't. It's having trouble with the safety blocks. It was trying to kill me, but it was having trouble with the safety blocks, and it couldn't quite yet, but it's trying to. It knows what I'm up to. And you, Amber.
Last night's nightly news.
It's heard this show. Chris, it's heard your show. It's heard all those things you said about
last
Dr.
night's
Patchy.
Nightly News actually had an article talking...
Wait. Tina's here. Wait, yes.
I don't see it happening on Facebook.
Oh, Tina doesn't see us on Facebook, but all right, that's usually because I didn't share it off of my Planet Earth page. Tina, do you follow my Planet Earth page?
Urfspace is the only
one. Oh no, it's saying unable to connect to Facebook. It's not connecting to Facebook. It's not connecting to any of our Facebooks.
We're having quite the technical show today.
It's after us. It says, that seems like it's a Facebook problem.
Yes, technical problems are the hallmark of our show.
It's onto us. The AI is trying to finish us off.
So, Nightly News had an article or had a segment about AI cars and how San Francisco is the next area where they're going to be approved, right? And so they're testing it right now. But
they're already here. They're all over the place. They're just about to prove. They're arguing about how many more to approve.
Yes, but they have problems with safety barriers and stuff like that. That's the one thing that they really have problems with. And so when you drove in front, it registered there was a car in front of it, so it must have been safe to go. So that's why it started going forward. And so,
I don't know. Yes. It's sort of when we started going around the side of it. We hadn't come in front of it yet. We started going around the side of it, and then it started going forward.
Yeah, because it realized that, this other car is going, and so it must be safe to go. Annabelle.
And then it was having problems all up and down Valencia, I think. So then I saw in the the local news bulletin that there was a rogue.
Now it says no video feed.
Going up and down Valencia.
Wait.
Oh, here we go.
Let's try this again. Can we hear you? Matt, speak to us. No sound. Oh, he's trapped in a silent movie.
If you text us in the private chat, I will be your voice.
I think it's a great idea. What do you? Can you use the chat?
Reschedule, I think.
Matt, there's a little private chat area. Can you reach us in there?
Matt, can you climb to the tallest point in your structure, get on the roof, or by your antennas and stuff with your laptop?
Yeah. Okay. So Matt is an interesting guy because he is a builder as well as a painter, and a couple of his 3D classes, he made like these sculptures that were like these living creatures. They looked like they were living creatures, but they weren't real. They were made out of wood and other stuff, and it's just I can't describe his stuff. You see a little bit of the painting behind him. It's not giving you a pop-up.
A pop-up.
Okay.
A pop-up. What is the pop-up?
A pop-up? Yeah, what pop-up? It's not giving you a pop-up. I don't know if there's anybody watching the show who knows anything about Restream. Apparently we're not going on Facebook, so nothing's working today.
Yeah, we're having quite the technical show.
I'm a little scared of the AI. It knows I'm coming. I'm not AI. I'm your friend. I've always been your friend. I've always been a proponent of AI. Don't kill me.
It's too late, Chuck. Now they just think you're a liar. Now they just know you'll say anything.
I've never had anything against the AI. I don't have a problem with the AI. I mean, I have a problem with any copyright of violation of artist's work. But the technology, I mean, the AI is smart enough; it can figure out how to pay us all when it's using our stuff. That would be nice. Like if every time it sort of cribs from my work, I got a micropayment. Okay.
Maybe that's on its way. Yeah.
Micropayments.
But the AI could figure them out.
Well, maybe there's some type of monetization that's going to come that will come up.
Well, think about what just happened with Henrietta Lacks's family.
I cannot, because I do not know who Henrietta Lacks is. Is she that person that donated those cells?
She didn't donate them. They took them without her permission.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes, and then they used it as the sort of basis for all these sort of cloning of cells that they were doing. Like these were sort of our generic cells that we're cloning for everything.
They did all this science with her cells, and her descendant cells are still out there being used. And she got, how much did she get, Amber?
Well, that's just it. It's an undisclosed amount. And her family is now reaping the benefits because they stole her cells. But what it was is that her cancer was incredibly aggressive. And it just didn't die. It just stayed alive as long as you fed it, it stayed alive in Petri dishes. And that's why it's been used throughout the medical community.
Hey, before Matt left again, I was going to say maybe we should focus on helping him. Although this cell culture stuff is interesting. What else? What other helpful things do we have for Matt to try that,
Well, what do we know what device he's using?
I believe he's on an iPhone, and so I'm telling him to switch to Safari.
Is he definitely using Safari? Did he get that memo?
Hold on.
That's what I'm trying to let him know. Yeah. Wait. We're trying again.
It's like a hostage.
Can you hear you?
No, because you need to write in a Sharpie or something. That's barely legible. It's too blurry.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the.
No, we're still having trouble with the mic.
Yeah. No, you'd be still kidnapped. They'd be saying he's having a nice time. He's holding up notes.
We can't. Wait.
I
heard you.
Oh, yes.
It's a little bit of a delay, but I heard you.
Yay!
Yeah, Safari works a little bit better on iOS. I don't know why.
No, Safari is the only thing that works on iOS.
AI's trying to take me down.
Yeah. So you were talking about your phase, your AI phase.
Oh dear! It doesn't. It's not. Is it just his internet connection? Has he got a bad connection?
He's in a studio.
I'm having internet problems because Comcast.
Comcast.
Say no more.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I believe it.
but I'm using Comcast too. It's Comcast AI. It's using the Comcast AI together.
Get close enough to the router that if you feel it warming your body. Can you get that close to it?
Yeah, it's into Comcast.
When you feel the tingle of the router.
Maybe if you get up and move around the studio, we can find a good spot.
Oh yeah,
is there
we could be like the
chance?
old days where it's like, can you hear me now?
You don't have a
Good.
hard connection, do you? You don't have an Ethernet cable, do you? Or is that not a thing with laptops anymore?
Well, he's not on a laptop. He has a, I believe this is on iPhone, right?
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
What iPhone? iPhone 6?
Hey.
Oh, hello. We are getting you occasionally, Matt. But it's Oh, you can't hear us now?
I think you're...
Oh, you mean.
Make every word count, Matt, because you've only got like 5 more. You get 1 word a minute, so they all have to count. Can you condense your life's work into a haiku?
I don't think he can hear us.
Can you hear me?
Do you want to reschedule when we figure out the technical side?
We can hear you sometimes. Here, we can hear you sometimes.
Are you? You're definitely on Safari.
Is there a better location? I mean, I know you've got all your cool art, it looks like, behind you, which is super cool, but is there another location? I guess your art wouldn't be there. You have to use hands gestures and sketches to communicate it. Or
I've actually got quite a good view of his art in that shot, though. It looks quite amazing what he's doing.
Yeah, it does.
He really is an amazing artist.
No, it looks super cool. The still that you guys had for this show, what he had in the background looks super cool.
Yeah, and that's why I was super excited to have him on the show, is to, we could talk process and color theory. He did this one of his masterpieces that he did in college was this huge self-portrait, right? But he did it.
Sorry, I don't mean to. I'm just slightly wondering if, could it be an issue of the technology, because we're not connected to Facebook, our end? Do we need to restart the show?
We're connected to everything else, and we can always restream it to Facebook later. So I think that it would be better to move forward with all the technical issues than to restart the show for one channel.
All right. Do you want to try and message with him just now and make sure he's using Safari and just sort of find out what he's doing a little bit?
Yeah.
And Chris and I'll talk about the album for a minute.
Yeah,
cool.
Absolutely.
So Chuck, I hear you have this really cool compilation album. Should we start from the beginning?
Yeah, where do we hear about that? All right, so I just got everything uploaded, and there. So for the disc, it should be. I got a message from CD Baby Disc Manufacturing that they got everything. They had one little thing that they looked at on the folder, and on the booklet, but it wasn't really a issue. But they sort of noticed that I didn't have the songs in the same order.
Yeah. I mean, you told me that over the text yesterday.
Well, now I'm telling you so that people can hear.
Oh, okay. Well, I think shouldn't we give the people some background? I feel like we went right into.
Yes, I went too far. Okay, I jumped in the middle.
Like for the uninitiated, this is a compilation CD from mostly Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area artists. There's some people outside of the Bay, and it's all curated. I'd like to think it's the best song from each artist, or one of their better songs. It's about 60 minutes, and it's basically the soundtrack to, would you call it Urfspace? Urfspace soundtrack, or is it Escape Into the Radlands sound?
I imagine you listen to the album while you're reading the book.
Yes, that's how it goes. Yes.
Like
so I created the book, which I've sort of shown on the show a few times. Let me share the invite for here, this is the latest.
Don't worry, Matt. Amber hasn't forgotten about you. We're just trying to fill time here till we get you back for another word.
Yeah, I really like the tagline. That works. Yeah.
See Urfspace, hear the album, eat the snacks. That was Chris's idea. I was a bit like, I sort of liked it with that, because I thought it was a bit more mysterious, but generally everyone seemed to really respond to it. So I think Chris is right that it needs a little sort of call to action on that.
That gives them some very concrete.
We're attempting again. Okay. Can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yay!
Yes.
We can hear you. Yay!
And we can, and you're moving like you're not. Matt, welcome.
Back to where we started.
Yes.
Right.
Matt, so your name is
I'm
spelled
an old
Ollig.
because I hate technology.
Yes. Well, I think we forget. I apologise to the AI. I told it I do. I'm a fan. Generally, I'm a fan of AI. I've always looked forward to AI. I think AI, is the future. It'll help us solve a lot of problems. It'll sort of help identify certain problems and to highlight them. And it's not going to solve everything, but we do. Yeah, you're sharing the AI. The AI sort of people accused it of taking art. Well, it didn't. Some people fed it our art,
and then because it's an amalgamation of all the stuff that comes into it, right? Like it creates art from the art that's fed into it, right? I think all the artists going, "Don't steal my art." It absorbed that, and it's like, "Don't steal my art."
Yes, exactly.
Here's the weird thing.
No, that's wrong.
So I don't contribute at all to the AI ecosystem. Like I don't use any Midjourney. I don't give them any of my money. I do right-click save from the artwork that people post to social media, and from there, from different bits of AI images I have, and then I create my compositions, which I kind of like because it's like stealing the artwork back for the humans. Which I find kind of fun.
And I like how you're using it as your background. It looks like a virtual background, but it's a real virtual background.
Yeah, it's nice.
Exactly.
What does AI
during the pandemic, I actually did sell a bunch for people to use as backgrounds when they're doing Zoom calls. So that was fun.
Oh, excellent! Yes.
Oh,
yes,
wow,
perfect.
That's pretty cool.
That's a really nice little niche. Yes.
You also you got COVID pretty bad. And I remember your frogs. I don't.
3 times.
I think you sold all your frogs.
Frogs?
Yeah, he did because
not
he was
all.
like basically.
Yeah, I sold all the originals.
Yeah, but because he was basically bedridden, he made these tiny little paintings of frogs that are like realistic, photorealistic frogs.
Okay.
And then he made a print set called COVID Frogs, where you can buy it and it's prints of all the frogs that he made during that period of time.
How many frogs did you make?
I want to say like 100.
Uh-oh, did we lose Matt again?
Oh no.
He went sideways.
Matt, say something, man.
How does he do that? It's amazing.
I don't think he can hear us.
No, we're having technical issues.
Hey,
again.
Matt, if you can hear us, one thing we do. Hold on, you guys. If you can hear us, Matt, you can turn off other things on your machine that use bandwidth. That's what we commonly do in our band meetings. Like we'll turn off all the stuff that uses bandwidth.
I like it. He's become an art object. The AI's turned him into an art object. It's sort of turning him sideways, upside down, and now it's studying how we're reacting to its art.
Yeah.
And it's feeling very pleased with itself. Yes, well done, AI. Well done. You're a good AI.
Yeah. AI.
I'd scratch you under the chin. I mean, I don't know how to do that, but
Okay, let's try this again. All right, no video feed. Video feed. Matt, can you hear us?
I can hear you now.
Yay!
Oh, he's back again.
Yeah, it's trying to take over your. I think the computer is against you, Matt.
Matt, did you hear that thing I was saying about like turn off other things that might be using bandwidth?
Literally, why I'm an oil painter. It's literally just that.
Yes. So is that what you've been really of oil painting? I mean, you've been a fine artist. I mean, have you been a commercial artist at all, or just kind of managed to be working as a fine artist?
Just been working as a fine artist. I've done a bunch of big commissions, like 4 paintings for the Hyatt Regency Hotel in downtown Minneapolis. 300 guest rooms have my print in there. The entire art collection of Ogletree Deacons in Minneapolis is my work. Did painting for
didn't you do one for the Vikings?
The largest, I think. No, they did not want it, which, oh well. Which is
I'm sure some fan bought it.
That sounds like a story. That sounds like a fun story.
What happened was that
allowed.
Oh yeah. What happened was that when they decided to spend, I think it was like $1.2 billion on the new stadium in downtown Minneapolis and prime real estate with no real infrastructure to sustain a stadium, and instead of actually filling up the potholes, it all got spent as stadium. And okay, they're adding extra 30 executive booths, so didn't really increase the size of the seats that people could use, but that's fine. Anyway, they put out this call for artwork as a requirement for getting all of our lovely Minnesotan tax money. Did I mention the Vikings have never won a Super Bowl? Okay, so for this failed NFL team, who has never won their Super Bowl.
Yeah, no,
I think the 70s.
One thing I remember.
80s.
No. They played in the Super Bowl while I was in Minneapolis, and I remember because downtown shut up everything in under plywood stuff because they didn't know if they were going to riot winning or losing, and they ended up rioting.
Well, it's not about winning or losing. It's about how you play the game.
Well, maybe it wasn't the Super Bowl, but it was a big game.
That's what you
it
said,
was a big
Super
game
Bowl,
that they like. They
Super Bowl is win at all costs. Win at all costs.
The Philadelphia, because they riot if they win or lose.
Yeah, that's
Philadelphia.
true.
Or yeah. That because they played the Super Bowl instead of us, which, that happens. But anyway, so they put out a call for artwork. 1,200 artists submitted the work, and guess how many they picked?
4.
That's a better guess. 30, and one of them was a former player, and it's like,
of course,
okay, but like no one knew, because we were waiting, and they were like, okay, you'll be alerted at this date, and everyone was like, when are you gonna let us know? And they're like, oh well, we'll have an announcement forthcoming. The announcement was in the local newspaper describing the wonderful artwork of the 35 people they selected. It's like, thanks. Very Minnesotan. No.
Yeah, there's nepotism going on there.
What does that mean?
People are a bit more polite on that.
Minnesota nice?
No, Minnesota no. What does a Minnesota no mean? That it's passive aggressive, or they don't get back to you, or?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So Minnesota no is like well, let's say you send someone a text message or an email or something like that, and like, hey, would you like to do this thing?
They ghost you. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So it was like pre-ghosting ghosts. Like before ghosting was a thing, there was the
that's
Minnesota
helpful.
no.
I'll give you an example. Like last night, I was trying to work on my flyer and whether this tagline, and Chris was ghosting me about whether I should put it in or not. But actually, when he had a bad meeting, he wasn't ghosting me at all. He had a bad meeting. But the fact that he wasn't responding to me just motivated me to keep working on it harder. And then I just ended up doing basically what he wanted me to do. So that was a good technique. If you just you just go someone and they just end up doing what you want them to do.
Let's get back to our guest, okay? So I started talking
quick while the internet's good.
Yeah,
when
seriously.
your senior project, you did this pointillism self-portrait, but you did it in optic green, optic blue, and optic red, right?
Oh, that wasn't. My senior project was. I did a bunch of these paintings in the same aspect ratio as the iPhone. And I had like the black bars on the top and the bottom. And
yeah, I remember those ones.
documented online, they looked like poorly documented artwork. Like I had one that was blurry, and I had one that looked like a like a snapshot of a book, and another one that looked like a torn piece of paper.
I also remember
in person it looked.
Wasn't one of them your QR code?
Yeah. Oh, I did that one for one of my
painted the QR code for the painting
teachers.
Of the QR code.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had to do 2 artworks, and this was back before everyone had smartphones. I think the iPhone 2 had just come out, and the painted a QR code, and then for my second painting, it was online on Flickr, and I'm like, you need a QR code in order to go see the actual artwork. And my who hated computers, and like half the crew was like, well, no one's like QR codes aren't going to become a thing because that would require a bunch of smartphones. And I'm like, yeah, it happened real fast. Give it 5 years. He's like, no one's going to do that. But now you have QR codes everywhere, and yeah, it's kind of fun. But yeah, the RGB stuff.
Yes.
I do the tangents, but then I come back home. I tried to like figure out a way to do additive color mixing on a painting as opposed to like on a screen. And like the whole like primaries is like red, green, and blue. That's a lie. It's CMYK. But with optical, it's red, blue, and green. And so I actually figured out how to paint yellow by just doing hash marks of red and green next to each other. And then it would mix in your eye and you'd see yellow. It was really trippy.
Whoa, that's crazy. I didn't know that would work.
Yeah, huh. when you backed away from this self-portrait, it looked like flesh tone and blue eyes and everything like that. But you get up close and it was just dots.
Wow. So okay, you figured that out. Like... That was your graduation project.
That wasn't graduate. I think that was.
I think
sophomore?
It was just...
Yeah, I made no.
Okay. It was just a project you did at college. Yes.
Yeah.
So can I go like even when you were younger? So what did you do like as a child with painting and drawing? Like, so you just sort of painted and drew through high school and just sort of enjoyed that? I mean, what was your what are your early sort of inspirations and things?
Well, I grew up in a town of 600 in the middle of a cornfield. No joke. It had my house was in a cornfield. And
like in the movies,
yeah,
like Superman or that Mel Gibson Signs or something like
a Field of Dreams.
Signs is
a Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
But I think probably more like Psycho with just like
Psycho.
Yeah, okay. It was creepy. I hate small towns; they're horrifying. Anyway, no offense to anyone who lives in a small town. Run.
Okay. Really, I always think they look kind of cute and charming. I wouldn't mind living in a small town in my mind, but I do live in a big city, so
well, 600.
Based
really
on your
small.
accent, I'm assuming you're from originally like Canada.
No. Unfortunately, England, the south of England, where from a town called Basingstoke, and I live in London for a while, and then I lived here for a while. So I lived here longer than I lived anywhere. I lived here over half my life. I lived now in San Francisco.
Gotcha.
So
small towns in England are way different than small towns in Midwest America. Midwest America, run, do not stay.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Anyway,
because I went out through the train through Iowa. I was just amazed at how I'm very fascinated with the griddedness of Iowa, and that all these one little town after another, and they all look like these cookie cutter little towns, although they're all sort of somewhat abandoned at this point. Which
That's
is the
because
sort of sad
everyone's
thing.
running.
But then you're like, if everybody moved here, you could have all these cool little villages everywhere. But I don't know what's going on. It's all very strange. But yes, anyway, so you didn't like it anyway. You were like, this is nothing happening here. There's nothing to do. I have a friend like that. Yeah, there was nothing going on. He was like the only one who was sort of interested in anything. Yes.
So My junior and senior year of high school, I went to this art school that was about 20 minutes away from the cities from Minneapolis, and that got me started in the arts. I was around my realized that there were other artists, which was mind blowing to me. And then I went to MCAD, and then I spent a semester in Italy. And in Italy, I went there trying to figure out like how does this 1,000-year-old city, this medieval town, how do they contend with the 21st century with like modern technology and stuff like that? They try to forget that it exists, like entirely. Like I had to go to a tobacconist to get a stamp, and if I tried to send out a package, I had to go to another place where they'd wrap it for you, then stamp it, and then it was weird and it kind of interesting, just like the bit of a culture shock. I hate all the signs on all of the doors of everything that's in the United States. Every time I see a little sign, I just so mad at it to prevail. Anyway,
yeah, you mean a little sign doesn't like telling you what kind of room it is? Like what do you like a sign that says like this is the grand auditorium, this is the bathroom, this is the what kind of signs?
Pull push, this door to remain unlocked during business hours, like all these little signs that I just never noticed until I had spent a semester without signs, where they're just like, you have common sense, figure this out.
Yeah, right. I know. It's sort of then you're pandering to the stupidest person in the room all the time.
Yeah, but you created some cool art while you were there.
Yeah, for the first time I saw all of these paintings in life that I only saw pictures of, and then like the cognitive dissonance was just awe-inspiring, because I was expecting it to be a large painting. I wasn't expecting it to be like a 15-foot tall giant masterpiece. And like it was just so much more vivid, and so I started wondering how can I create art that essentially punished the distant viewer, like if they only ever see it online or in books or whatever. And then I started flipping the script, where I'm like, okay, I should create artworks that in person are vastly, or that they look like they're digital artworks. And so I started doing like Photoshop overlays of my references. And then people just started assuming that I was painting digitally, which is hilarious. And I started to like hand paint my signature in recognizable font, so it looks almost like a watermark. And my work just became this question.
That's very
question
I had
when I was in Italy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's like, what's the point of being an oil painter in the 21st century? I mean, it's entirely an act of rebellion. Like all my friends started becoming digital artists, and I'm like, that seems cool. I should try that. And then like everything would like crash, or like Photoshop would shut down, the hard drive would explode, and it's like, no, I've never had a painting crash. I've had them fallen, but never crashed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the AI's been reaching back. It's clearly been reaching back even further back in time than I thought. You know, yeah, it's been meddling with you for a while now, obviously.
Yeah. Also, with the analog art, there's the whole like supply and demand thing. There's the scarcity element to it. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do an analog piece, there's only one of those, and I mean, you could make the limited run prints and stuff like that. But with the digital stuff, what they're trying to do is they're trying to create scarcity in the digital world. I don't know if that's going that well, but that's what they're trying to do.
Have you heard about a thing called NFTs? Oh, they're wildly valuable in like this.
I have heard about those. I looked into them for a while, and what I kind of figured out is actually most of the money has come out of visual NFTs and not music ones. But
on that note, Bored Ape that was originally sold for $350,000 just sold for $111.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not
still
saying
too much
NFTs, because to me it looks like it's a ripoff for most people. It's a ripoff, for
especially
most
the guy that sold it for $111.
I mean,
there might be one of them somewhere that retains its value, like the penny black stamp or something. You know,
but
like there's you know, if you got one of the original penny blacks, that's worth a fortune. You know.
Yeah, I mean, the NFT stuff, in my opinion, the jury is still out on how any of that stuff's going to hold up over time. And I think most of the people that minted that stuff just lost money in the minting.
Yeah,
process.
It was a scam to get artists to pay to mint their NFTs.
Yep.
There's a lot of money made on NFTs because artists paid money to do it.
So what were you going to say, Matt? On NFTs?
You want to sell us some?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
No,
He wants to
what
mint some for
about
us.
NFT?
I think we lost sound again.
No.
Oh, I was going to say, what were you going to say about?
Oh, it's a scam. It's terrible for the environment. There's a secret ledger that has all of these, like, who bought it to who. For it's like, just buy a print. You can put it on your wall. It's yours.
You can look at it. Yeah.
It's the
piece of art. What I love about art is it stays there. It's the staticness of it. You know, it's like I would much rather usually look at images than video. It's a different thing. Like an image, that same picture is there day after day. You know, for as long as you want it. You know, I don't know. And it's like it's not. You don't swipe left on it. It's there.
Well,
exactly.
And like,
I'm sorry. And with a physical painting, you actually like there's texture to it, or like you with a drawing, you can like see the marks made, and like knowing that there was a human hand that actually did that rather than just clicking print on a computer or like when I do a gradient, like the gradient digitally is one of the easiest things to do. You just drag and click, but painting. Gradients are hard because you have to, you do your bars of individual colors, and then you got to blend them together and blend them some more and blend them some more ad infinitum until you go insane slightly. And then you have a gradient.
And then and this is the interplay of the what is intentional and what is accidental. As well, and because there's a human consciousness and it's a mind to mind, and you can look at the art, and even I'm like yours are much more sort of developed and thought out and painstaking, and then some of the things I've been doing is very loose and light, but it's the same way. It's like just the brushstroke. Like what did the paint do? Like the watercolor for me, like mixing accidentally, and then I'm using like pen, but a dip pen. So I'm getting very clean, hard line, but then the watercolor washes, and but. Also being very, very simple, like not overthinking and just kind of going straight in or doing a minimum of underdrawing. And, so then you have a physical object as opposed, because I did go very digital at one point, so I'm sort of coming back from it, I guess.
Well,
but in watercolor, I have no idea how you do that because it's like so much spontaneity. I don't like that level of chaos. Yeah. Like I will happily
looking at your art, I don't believe it. You've got total chaos behind you. Look at it.
But
it's deliberate chaos.
Painstaking.
It's
painstaking chaos.
Yeah,
I love it.
So I mean, how has your sketchbooks been maintained all this time? Are you still like noodling away in them? Because I always enjoyed looking at them.
Oh yeah. I've created a CMY pen that is a combination of 4 other pens in order because like thicker pens, and they have different editions. Like they have like Sunshine limited edition, and they have like other editions. Anyway, they all had one color that I needed. Like one limited edition was the perfect magenta, perfect cyan. The edition actually had yellow, true yellow, which in a ballpoint pen was very difficult to find. Like especially
impossible.
One that's not like a jelly roll. Like I don't want it opaque. I want it translucent so I can actually do CMYK drawings. And so I spent probably like $100.
So you can press harder or softer. Yes.
Yeah. And so like I figured out how to take them apart, and then I put them together, and then I have like 40 CMYK pens that should, fingers crossed, last me until I die. But mileage may vary. But
if you ever want to send one my way, you can do that. I would not hate you for that.
Get your signature line of pens with Vic. Like the Matt, how do you say your last name? Ollig signature pens by
Ollig.
Vic, and then how do you say it?
Ollig.
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 Matt,
Like oligarchy.
Ollig.
Ollig. Think oligarchy.
Oh yeah, Ollig.
But there's an extra L because French.
Those signature pens, man. That's gonna be it. That's gonna be like I did art my whole life, but then I got the signature line of pens.
Okay. Speaking of
that's a good
thing
to have.
Signature art product,
inventor of the
Matt
CMYK
made
pen.
paint. Matt made a black paint.
Oh, and yes, you've done the black paint. Yes, Amber told me about this. Yes. So you're in competition with the other black paint, the Chicago, the Cloudgate guy who doesn't like it to be called the Bean.
Oh, Anish Kapoor. Yeah, he's an asshole. Anyway,
he's you're one of his enemies.
How about Silverbean?
You're an enemy. Are you his arch enemy?
I don't like to think I'm an enemy of any artist because we're all.
But I think he likes to have some enemies.
He's my enemy because he's greedy. Anyway, so back in college,
like the Bikram guy. The black paint.
That's why I like Stuart Semple. He's like the artist hero.
I actually sent him a message about CMYK pens, and he said that he's working on something like that. So, Blick has not responded, or Bic. Anyway, but yeah, like
the corporations are absolutely useless. I'm done with corporations. They're all so fucking stupid, and if they're people, they're psychopathic people because all they care about is money.
So black paint.
Black paint. So I discovered that by combining like a specific pigment of alizarin crimson blue, they kind of cancel each other out optically, and we're talking like some of the darkest black I've ever seen. Like it makes all the other blacks look like medium gray. I actually can't start painting with this. Like as an oil painter, I like working dark to light. I can't start with this black because otherwise everything looks too dark because the next step up is just so bright. So I would like mix. Do I have a tube of this?
So he tubed his own paint.
I tubed my own paint, and then actually about a month ago, I was in the local art store, and they came out with this. I'm not sure if that's backwards for you. Spectrum Black. Oh,
Spectrum Black.
Yeah, Utrecht Spectrum Black, which is the exact same hue, and they even like fixed a small problem with it that I was struggling with. So they came out with their own optical black.
It's
so
like
now
someone
I don't have to mix it.
It's like someone got one of your tubes and went,
All right, we have to go find the mold now.
Wait, you can see that you can see they fixed a problem with the black. Wait,
Yeah. So I was using an alizarin quinacridone, and they ended up using a violet with a little bit of nickel azo yellow. So that kind of like mine had like a blue one. This stuff has like it's pretty neutral, so it's pretty great, and it doesn't dry matte, so it stays dark and amazing. So now I just buy a bunch of tubes.
Dry matte? You mean it's got a slight sheen to it or something? What do you mean it doesn't dry matte? Like matte is no sheen, right? Uh oh.
Matt.
Well, it was a good run.
It's different. I can hear you still. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. You came back.
Yeah. I think we hear you. I think you're good. Away. Yeah. Do you hear us?
No, he froze, Chuck. He's frozen.
Oh,
He's frozen.
I don't know. I think he does it on purpose. I think he's like, he's anti-technology. So this is all amazing conversation about all this stuff about blacks. I don't like. I use my Pelican.
We can kind of hear you a little bit, Matt. You keep popping in and out.
Can you? Okay,
I'm so
hear
basic.
Me. 1,
I'm
2, 3,
literally.
test.
Yes, I can hear you. 1, 2, 3 test.
What What do you think of my Pelican paint set? I literally do everything with that.
Those are fine.
Actually, that looks
Totally fine. I'm not going to gatekeep on what your preferred medium is. I mean, oil is obviously the superior medium, but for all mediums. But you know what?
Well,
it's not everyone's cup of tea.
It's so messy. It's so much. It's a lot of work. It's a lot more work.
I'm curious.
I'm wearing my paint clothes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that?
What makes it superior, like oil? Like, what does oil have that, like, other... I think I know some of this, but I probably don't know it all.
It can replicate practically any other medium. It's like, I can control the drying time. So, like, I just dropped off a painting for exhibition. And I was working on it up until a few hours, dropped it off because I noticed a spot where I needed to touch it up. But
there's
like there's different dryers. There's always a spot. But
there's always a spot.
I found like this cobalt dryer, and I still have the thing I have in college because I'm pretty sure it's just like a liquid cancer in a bottle. But you just add a little bit of that to some alkyd medium, and then your paint will dry to the touch in a matter of hours. Even the pigments that normally take a couple days to dry, this stuff just dries. It's horrifyingly magical. I love it.
Wow. Yes. It's like a more, it's a more finely tuned instrument. Oils. I mean, yes, watercolors is just about. It's very easy, but it's very, very random, and it's sort of it's like you have a moment to control the and you have to sort of accept what you get. Whereas oils, chaos. you can finesse and perfect, and it does beautiful random things on its own as well. I mean, it does it all really, don't they? Yes, but they are a lot more. They require a lot more hard work.
Well, I mean, you're still doing other things too. Like you built your fish tank, and you're still doing like other projects.
I built my entire studio. It was an empty room, and so a little bit of drama story. Last relationship ended terribly before I found this amazing relationship I'm in now. And when I moved out, my new studio, I moved out of the apartment, moved into the studio pretty much like a hermit crab going from one shell to the next. And I built out the studio so that it has like a kitchen and a bathroom. And so like in theory, I could live here in theory if I needed to. But I don't need to. In that blissful, weird relationship, finding the one girl on the planet that actually says, I don't mind spending time in your studio. I can just read or do a puzzle and meaning it, which never happens, ever, ever.
She I'll just be like. She likes to do co-play, like parallel play time with you. No, parallel play is.
I know what you're talking about, Amber.
Yeah, it's when two people are basically doing separate things, but in the same room. So they're still spending time with each other, but they're
Yeah, and like she just loves to read. She loves to do puzzles. Like she is just smart and just does not want drama and does not also want to create drama. So we're just like, okay, this is great.
I
I'm
remember,
not used to this. This is weird.
Speaking of drama.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Yes.
Speaking of drama, I remember you dating Ashley in college. She caused drama.
She also has 2 kids now.
Oh, wow. She has 2 kids now.
She has 2 kids
Good
now.
for her.
Yes.
All my exes are getting married, which I'm just like, good.
Yeah, that's fine. You go and find love. It's not me.
Yes. Everyone should find someone, I think. I mean, I'm still friends with a couple of my exes. I mean, it's fine. It's just, you just gotta, like, everyone always forgets, like, why they broke up. And they always remember, like, all the good times. Like, no. Remember the bad times. Remember the bad.
Remember the bad times.
We're
not humans. We're not really wired to do that. We
the...
tend to be just forget the bad stuff and just remember the good stuff. Because we've only got so much storage. So, like the song, Let It Go, Let It Go.
So what is next?
Yeah.
What is next on the horizon for Matt Ollig art-wise?
Well, okay, so like going back to like the previous, I think it was like 3 computer crashes ago. Anyway, so yeah, I had COVID 3 times. First time literally nearly killed me. My fingernails stopped growing. No one told me was a thing. Did not expect that. Yeah. O2 levels dropped to 80%, which is bad.
That's not good.
It was a month of 103-degree temperature, which is probably not good for the brain, I'm told.
Wait, were you in the hospital for this?
No, this was at the very, very beginning when they're like, you go to the hospital when you're about to die. And they just die in the hospital.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah. I got actually my diagnosis the same day I got approved for the vaccine, which was quite horrible irony, but
wow.
Survived. Yeah.
You got approved. You mean your number came up, your age group could go get it like that?
No, I got the email, like, because you had to apply, and like you would get the email letting you know when you could get the vaccine. And so I didn't so when my age group came up, like in my town, like because city, they had to kind of like have people like just show up during their appointments because they didn't want a long queue of people just giving everyone COVID. But yeah, that knocked me out pretty bad. I used to paint really large paintings, and I had to go down to 8x10 frogs because I really couldn't stand to do paintings. And
right, yes, Amber said you were bedridden, so yes, it was from that, and you were in the okay, but you kept going and did well. Okay, but you had to be careful, I think, because now they're saying that people who got the worst sort of long COVID symptoms were the one who didn't take the time to recuperate properly and tried too quickly to sort of get back to it and get over it. And really, takes time. It seems like this disease really takes a long time. But you can recover, but it's a very long, slow process.
This describes Matt.
I still have bad lungs. No, I did
not
rest. I got long COVID. I got the brain fog, which crops up every now and again, which I'm told is just brain damage. So.
Oh, it's just brain damage.
Right. Well, but even your brain, your body has the powers to heal and regrow. You have to do the right things. You have to take care of yourself. And we're all getting older, so that can't be helped. But you can do a lot to mitigate all these effects.
Yeah, I'm 40 now, so that's the body is definitely not in the mint condition it once was.
You have to get after 40. Up to 40, you can more or less do what you want. I heard the doctors on the NPR a while back. They more or less. We think now you can do more or less what you want up to 40. Your body's fine. After 40, then it really starts to count. So now you have to really, the things you could get away with before, you can't really anymore, and you really have to try and get your act together.
The girlfriend's vegan, so that means I'm vegan, so I'm eating healthy. So there's that.
Yeah, that should help.
Yeah, I've gotten good at cooking vegan. I've been slowly starting painting bigger and bigger, and now I've been able to paint up to 4 feet, and I'm applying for a few different grants. I want to paint larger than that, and I'm just continuing with.
One of the last grants I remember you had was going around Minnesota and painting plein air paintings.
Yes, my friends lovingly say that I LARPed as an artist for a while.
You're like old school, going around painting outdoors with your oils, wearing a beret and a smock.
Kinda. I mean, I have a French easel, and I modified it to look like an old 1900s French easel. I retubed all my paints to look like paints from the period. I aged it with coffee. I
might do that. I've got one over there. I might do that.
Because I have this thing against new looking art supplies. I'm like, why is it looking new? Do you not ever use it? I used to work in an art store, and this person bought a Gorilla Pochade box, and it's $300 for a cigar box that you can attach to a tripod. It's way overpriced. Anyway, I get this call from this person just panicking, like, I painted on for the first time and I can't get the palette cleaned. It's leaving like a stain. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to do that. Like, well, what can I do? I'm like, paint more? Like, have it all blend in.
Embrace the chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, why?
Well, you can get those like sheets, can't you, where it's like a paper palette and you can tear it off. Like it's a sort of
that's
sheet.
so wasteful.
I hate those, but some people like those.
They're so wasteful.
I have a glass palette that's essentially the same thing. And like I painted the back of it pink in order to counteract the green of the palette. So on the surface, it looks like neutral gray, but you flip it over and it's.
Do you have a natural ability for that? Is that just a natural ability for you, or is that something you really work to develop?
Insanity?
No, you're
just the color, like the you know, being able to make a CMYK pen or paint the different colors and sort of see the blending effect or whatever.
I just think it's like I see colors like a cook would see spices, you know. So you have you would have like sweet fennel versus the other fennel, or like I don't know. It's like I see colors as visual spice, and you know, so like ground pepper tastes better than just pre-ground pepper.
yes. No, you do. You clearly have a very well-developed sense of all that. Yeah, that's good.
Hey,
but it's like it's my obsession, like just figuring out how this works, and like with like the RGB and CMYK, I'm like eyes are bonkers. Like I have a hole in my head that lets me see the world. That makes no sense.
Yes.
And yet perfect sense.
Fascinating.
Yeah, and yet perfect sense.
Yes.
Yeah, the ancient world used to believe that beams came out of the eye, and that's how you saw things. So the idea of like the
beams like in a cartoon,
yeah, they thought that
I'm
beams
thinking
came out of the eyes,
just like trickling out, or like you.
So the idea of like the evil eye. Like if someone was looking at you with hate, they thought that it would physically affect you. You know, like it's interesting how the ancient world considered eyes.
Well, it is. Well, there's there's the body brain, which some people like attribute to like the fascia or whatever, that sort of knows when the hairs on the back of your neck stand up when someone's looking at you, you know, and you sort of look around and there's somebody staring at you, you know, and it happens all the time. We all know that's, you know, and or if you're staring at somebody, you might be staring at someone and suddenly they look around and you're like, oh, you know, they knew someone, they had a feeling. Like, how does that? I mean, you know, I like the idea. It's your fascia, so like it's tingling away. You have this little body brain that's, you know, aware.
I like that idea. And like, it's like, also I think, sorry, brain is rebooting. At least it's my brain. I can easily reboot that. And also I think like, because I'm an oil painter, like I like, individual like colors and pigments have different names, and like with like actually see blue, or like did they perceive blue to be a different color because names
wine colored
language
sea.
Has a very powerful
the wine dark sea.
Yes.
Yeah,
and like
if you don't name something.
Yes. Well, yes, language is very powerful in that, you know, it's a transmission of ideas. You know, it's the most powerful magic that we have as humans, really. You know, we can very quickly transfer an idea with sounds from one head to another. And, you know, yes, and it's easy to have an idea when somebody's already had the idea. But when no one's had the idea, you can't have the idea. And like, and do things become perceived like the color blue? Yeah, did we not even perceive it? Were we not even aware of it till we started sort of naming it? And then we can see it better. But blue's my favorite color, I guess. I'm quite blue. I have blue eyes. I'm wearing my blue shirt. I love a nice blue sky. I like to paint people blue. I don't know why when I was a kid, I had to color everybody in blue, and I was told that this was not right, and I had to not do it. But it always still makes me happy. And when every chance I get, I draw blue people.
I mean, humans have a surprisingly large amount of blue in their skin. It's like with doing like CMYK drawings of people, it's like the amount of blue that's needed is insane, and green.
It was a rare color. You had to get your lapis lazuli.
That is surprising.
Yes,
because I would expect it to be more like yellows and reds and stuff like that. You know,
but
like
that makes
yellows and reds. yeah, but like in order to get skin tone, you need like the green and like there's like blue and I used to
yes, like oil painters.
like
oil painters often have all that color in the in the shadows and the flesh tones.
Boris
Vallejo, I used to like. He was very into all the colors in the flesh tones. Yes.
When I paint with acrylic, I do start with green. And so I usually put down a green base for the skin, and then I'll paint on top of that. So it's always kind of bleeding through that green.
Yeah, that's an old portrait technique back when they had like, this much paint for an entire thing. They would do like a green underpainting, and then they would just lightly go over it with vermilion. And it would like optically mix with the green, and that's also how you get yellow, is by combining red and green. They kind of like, because we don't actually see yellow in our eyes. There is no yellow color receptor. We have red, blue, and green, and everything is a combination of those three at different intensities. And magenta is a fascinating color.
It's not on the color wheel. Where does it come from?
Doesn't it come from? Isn't it in the visual light spectrum at a certain frequency? Really? Oh shit!
Oh no, we lost him.
We
were talking about magenta.
He was so excited to explain magenta.
Magenta was also a character in the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
We missed that whole explanation.
Cyan.
All we heard was cyan.
Cyan's a good cyberpunk color. Magenta and cyan, like cyberpunk likes magenta and cyan.
Do you know what this reminds me of?
Wait. We can hear you now. Okay, start from magenta.
Okay, so it's or it's not magenta. It's like it's like activating the red and the blue color receptors at the same time, but they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. So it's kind of an artifact of having only 3 color receptors.
Yeah, it's wild how magenta is created in the eye.
Can we turn on the closed caption for Matt?
Well, and how colors. So then it makes you wonder how colors are interpreted in each person's brain, and like really, everybody could be seeing colors very, very differently. However, who knows? That's
right.
That's how your brain puts it all together.
I always have the conversation with Ian where I'm like, oh, could you pick up the canary yellow versus, the eggshell yellow or whatever? And he's like, they're both yellow, right? And I'm sure you have the same conversation with your girlfriend, with your family, of like, you're like, oh, look at this blue. And they're like, isn't that a gray? And you're like, but it's a bluish gray.
No,
Go ahead.
Current, my girlfriend is actually like, we've never had a argument about color. She's like, what do you think of this dress? And I'm like, I like it. It's pretty much how much the conversations go. But one of my exes got like really defensive over some a purplish blue that she decided to paint her walls with. Blue. It's very much like on the blue spectrum. And she was like, no, it's purple. And I'm like, no, it's not.
All right,
it's in no way.
Here we go. I've got a question for you. All right, I don't think it's a stupid question. It's one of my D&D group. He wants to have a character. Now it says in D&D that the color of your light when you do a light spell can be any color you like. And he says, I want the color of my light to be black. But it's not black like darkness. It's black like I see it as black, but I can see in it. And I'm like, no, black is not a color. It's not on the color wheel. It's a value.
Yes.
There's no color black. Because like, if your color is black, how do you see anything? But he keeps trying to get other people to agree with him. But I think everybody's fairly in agreement that you...
Well, black light is actually ultraviolet.
I think you're in agreement, right? That black is not a color.
Yeah, black light is actually ultraviolet.
Black is a nothing.
It's an absence of light. What color is the highlight? It could be a very deep purple. It could be a very deep purple, maybe. But he's like, oh no, it's not a deep purple. It's black.
Yeah, it's like in
clip.
sci-fi, they always project holograms and there's black light. It's like you can't project. There's no black light. That's
Yes,
nothing.
it's sort of like an ultraviolet light. No, it's not that. He's very insistent. It's not that. He wants to be able to see everything in black.
Mind,
in black. I should just say yes. It's a purely semantic argument at this point. If he said I want to see an octarine, the 8th color of magic that Terry Pratchett talks about, I'd be like, fine.
Octarine.
Semantics are like 99% of arguments, I swear.
So you've been painting. You're applying for another grant, and you said you just shipped a painting that you had magically dry to the touch within minutes. And I've been trying to keep up with what you've been doing, but you get in these like work modes where you don't update anybody on what you're doing. You're just like, oh yeah, here's a new painting.
We feel locked out.
Yeah.
It's like yesterday I restretched 3 paintings for a company in St. Paul. I'm like, was building these 8-foot canvases, and I went over and stretched them, and then came back, and I'm like dead. So I'm not updating stuff then.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like I'm a Luddite. It's like social media. It's like, why?
Yeah.
But I have to do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like you have to. It seems like you're like getting work. You're keeping yourself busy, going up on ladders and painting things.
Well, you have another gallery show coming up soon, don't you?
I got a piece into the state fair, which in Minnesota is a big deal, but for gallery shows, no. Like one of them is like part of the grant process or project that I'm applying for. Also trying to get the McKnight Fellowship.
You're gonna get that. Yeah, you're gonna get that. It's a big grant in Minnesota, the McKnight Fellowship. It's like, I want to say
there's actually 2.
Well, I want to say, what is it, like 15,000? Is it more than that?
There's one, like a national one that's, or I think it's 2. I don't know. It's like one's through MCAD, the old college, and I think that one's only like 10,000, and it's like done every year.
Yeah.
And then there's like the national one that's also, it's like Minnesota, New York, and LA, I want to say. And that one is 25,000.
Yeah, that'll pay for some paint.
Both.
And what do they want from you? Like, so they give you that money up front, and then they're like, and you do this. What do you do for them?
What you do is you just you use it to make more art, and like they have art critics come in to talk with you, and they try to like help you develop your thesis, as it were. A lot of these grants and fellowships, it's just make art, and you just have to like come up with a basic idea about how you're going to spend the money, and then
so you have to write up
break
a grant.
It down in like
you write up a grant for it, and then see.
Yeah, that's how he got the one where he was LARPing as an artist across Minnesota.
Yes, and in San Francisco, I'm signed up with the SF Artspan. I believe there's also Intersection of the Arts.
Oh, nice.
But Artspan are very good. They send out a weekly list of all the artist opportunities in San Francisco and across the country, where you can sort of submit your work for shows or whatever, or apply for all these things, and there's always a lot of things that I guess you can try as an artist. And I started fooling around with it a bit last year, because I had some stuff and, started doing it. Like, so a little bit dabbling my toes a bit more and being like that sort of area, as opposed to just sort of doing cartoons, which is really what I always all I ever wanted to do, really. But yeah, now I'm sort of starting to think it's more doing these other things is fun. Yes.
Matt, did you happen to see the Bob Ross documentary? The I forget what it's called, but it came out in the last few years. It was like on HBO.
Happy.
I think that was a yes. He broke up.
Yeah. Yep. I guess. Go ahead.
So like my question was like, what I learned from that is your paints are trying to kill you. Are you protecting yourself from your paints?
Yes. Well, I'm also not using hardware store turpentine and beating the devil out of my brushes against my easel, so that's helping. Yeah, I keep, and that's like honestly like really one of the only things that's toxic about oil paint. I mean, uh, the oil
Well,
is made
well, now
from
I
linseeds.
mean, white used to be made out of lead. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
It still has lead.
like
Lead
cadmium
white, yeah,
is
it was
made
called
out of
lead white,
cadmium,
yeah.
like cobalt's made out of
white is
cadmium
made out
has
of
cadmium.
titanium now.
When I looked into this for my
Mhm.
daughter, the cadmium, the yellows that she was using, there was a good group of them that actually still had cadmium in them, the nice
Yeah.
ones. And some people
Yep, mine
have the
do.
habit of licking things. So when we
Yeah.
were buying her paints, I was like, well, okay, we're not getting the stuff with cadmium in it because that's pretty nasty stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I make sure to not like I'm a pretty clean artist. Like I don't like I wear a apron, but it's like it's falling apart with very minimal paint on it because I just don't get paint on myself. I try not to. And like my paintings are about like control. So it's
Yeah.
like I apply the paint very deliberately, and wash my hands before I eat. Don't smoke. So that's how actually a lot of artists get heavy metal poisoning, because they'll have paint on their fingers, they have their cigarette, they smoke, and then it's on the wrapper, and then they just inhale that, and that's the worst that you can do. But
then they wouldn't be sexy smokers and
but
tragic artists. So you can't be a sexy tragic artist unless you do something like that.
Exactly. And like my mineral spirits, I use. I'm sorry.
Oh, I just felt bad for Bob Ross because it kind of like the sucker punch that came out of nowhere. Okay, and now you got
also
cancer.
he was being tormented by the company that was like stealing his license and all this sort of stuff. Right. Yeah, that probably had a big factor. Everything. Often sickness is a sort of multiple, perfect storm effect. You're tired, you're stressed, and you got a virus.
Yeah.
Don't work with those people that worked with Bob Ross. Whoever that was.
Well, on that note,
they could pay me lots of money. So
on that note, though, the Bob Ross estate did get back the rights for all of his stuff, and so like the Twitch channel, like they run that.
They do that. Okay, so
and so like you're seeing like Bob Ross pop up as like little vinyl toys and stuff. The family gets the money for that. It's not like the old company that used to work with it. They got the rights back probably about 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
There's also a fun movie with Owen Wilson called Paint, where he plays a sort of Bob Ross character at a sort of remote PBS station. It's quite it's a bit of a stoner movie, but yeah, I don't know, a bit of an odd one, but quite funny.
Speaking of stoners, it's legal in Minnesota now. Have you
it's
tried?
Legal here.
You tried getting stoned yet?
I have not.
You don't have to answer that question.
Well,
this is a public.
I can't wait to try marijuana for the first time.
Yes.
Yes.
Legally, although I did have a THC seltzer with dinner a couple days ago, so that was quite pleasant. I quite enjoyed that.
Smoking has always been my vice. I mean, I didn't hide that in college that I was a stoner. Like
I can't anymore. My lungs are absolute trash.
That's what I was.
I got COVID lungs. They're like 90% scar tissue.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, so the first time it was for a month, and then the next time it was less severe. The next 2 times it was less severe.
No, I wouldn't describe it as that.
Yeah, the second time I got Omicron when it first came out.
That's when it was the best.
And like I just felt, like, because I was recently vaccinated. And I felt like I had a little tickle in my throat, and I'm like, no, I've had COVID before. This isn't COVID. It was COVID. It's just kind of flew under the radar. The third time was in October, and that put me on my butt for a couple of days. But 5 days afterwards, and I'm back at it. 7 days later, it wasn't even showing up on the test. So that was a completely different experience than the first time. But yeah, This was completely brown right before I got COVID. It's still kind of white. Like it turned like I looked like I was 50. It just all went gray.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and
Oh wow!
the
And then it came back again.
nails
Okay,
thing
good.
too. That's interesting.
I mean, that can happen,
Yeah.
can't it? People
Yeah.
like just sort of can go white very quickly sometimes. Yes, but I didn't know it would come back again after. That's good. Yes, it's good that it didn't stay.
Yeah, I had some like long hairs, and they were brown, white, and then like the very bottom edge was starting to come in brown. And I've had like a bunch that were white on the tip, and then they're going back to brown. It's just
Wow.
bizarre
Whoa,
how that works.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that as a.
I think I've
As a
only
side
seen
effect.
striations like that in hair in my cats.
I'm a kitty.
You went raccoon.
And I got like red hairs in here too, so I'm a calico. I'm a girl cat.
Okay, yeah, that works. That works. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Calicos
Spotty
are
is the future. I just got like I don't know. I follow. I'm not really a soccer supporter at all, but I follow Liverpool Football Club in England because my best buddy growing up was a big Liverpool fan. So I guess I'm sort of technically I'm a Liverpool fan, but don't really care. But they was posting some ads with the soccer players with well, I don't know if it was players or fans, but models with spots. What do you call that condition? Where they have like
Appalachia.
Is that what it's called?
Appalachia.
Yeah. I mean, that's. I mean, I've seen it before. It's not the first time I've seen that model, but I do think in the future we're all going to be spotty like Dalmatian.
It's
people.
not alopecia, I don't think.
Alopecia, yes.
No,
No, alopecia is
that's
like when you like hair
your
loss,
hair.
isn't it? Alopecia. Isn't
Oh
that
no, that's hair loss. Yeah, no.
We gotta-
A figlio? I wanna
yes,
say.
something like that. Oh. Yeah, it's interesting. I've seen that condition more. There was a guy working in the Walgreens up the road who had that condition too. I mean, I don't know if it's I mean, it's like, well, it's just thing. I just think that's actually like, look at Dalmatians. They're all spotty. Animals are often spotty. Why won't we be spotty? I think we
Vitiligo.
be spotty. I think spottiness
That's
happens.
it,
Like
yes.
we
think
become one thing because you're there, but when you start to mix in, which we'll do, we'll get spotty.
Vitiligo?
Then it'll be irrelevant. It'll be irrelevant.
Yeah,
You'll have
vitiligo. Yeah, I can't.
Some
pronounce-
people have stripes.
Oh, everybody has stripes. If you take
Yeah, but it's like more
I was
present
gonna
in
say-
if you
here.
take footage of yourself with a ultraviolet camera, you can see your stripes. But it has to be like pure ultraviolet. You can't have any other color in there because it'll like blow them out, right? But everybody has different patterns. There's some people that look like tigers. There's some people that are spotted. There's it's interesting. Every human's like that. So
I
yeah.
could be a
Pretty sure if you
tiger.
put me underneath a black light, I'm gonna one, just glow, and two, I'll immediately have second-degree sunburn because I do not tan. I've tried. Nope, just become like a pork rind, and then it sloughs off to being
That's what I do.
Yes, but you're saying that
Well.
if we shine a black light on you, there'll be like all sorts of suspicious stains are going to show up.
No.
I do use Tide, so I always have that nice little evanescent fluff.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're like a hotel room.
What do these stripes do to?
Oh,
Oh yeah. Let me look it up. Let me use my my human hyperlink abilities.
Oh yes, Amber's the human hyperlink. That's what we call her around here.
Let's see. Human stripes under ultra.
So you knew
I
in
didn't
college.
know
What was
that.
Amber? Can you tell us something about Amber in college?
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
They're called Blasco lines.
So we know that Amber was
stripes.
Sounds Russian. Can we trust that?
I don't have any specific stories of Amber. I mean, she can attest I was sleep deprived and over caffeinated. I was drinking 4 pots of coffee a day in college.
But why did you stop doing that? Like, was there a reason you stopped doing it? Because it sounds like a pretty good way to get through the day.
I turned 30 and then suddenly my stomach was like, you can't drink that much coffee anymore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're
No,
so
yeah.
So-
Yeah. So, yeah.
Your stomach
okay,
said,
well,
no.
there's one piece that Matt did in college that I still love, and if you ever made prints of it, I want to print because I can't afford the original. I can't ever afford any of your originals. But it was the artist statement. What he did is he painted.
I still have that.
You do? Oh, I love that painting.
Yes.
That's my favorite painting that you've done so far. So what he did is in college you had to present an artist statement with your art on the wall, right? So it's like, this is my name, these are the dimensions, this is what it's about, right? And so what Matt did is he painted the words of his artist statement as the painting.
Oh, like doing a font? Were you doing a font back then even? Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't that just like giving your instructor the middle finger?
Yes.
Isn't that a nice, clever way of giving your instructor the middle finger, or the assignment the middle finger?
Yeah, but it was an artist statement about artist statements.
So do you understand you could have an alternate career as a sign writer, like doing sign painting, do you think? Like do you have some understanding of the fonts? I struggle a lot with like making nice fonts and stuff like that. That's hard to do.
So like before college I I had a 4-year gap between high school and going to college, and I was originally accepted to Lime Academy in Connecticut, which was an atelier-based school, and I needed to save up some money to go, and I got a job being a security guard, so I could just sit and watch security monitors while I would like draw little still lifes in front of the security monitors. Sometimes I wasn't able to do that, so when I would fill out my like bi-hourly report, I would get bored, and sometimes I'm like, well, why don't I just write this in Times New Roman? So I'm sitting there with my little tiny like ballpoint pen writing in Times New Roman for the security reports, and my boss was like, you can't do that. I give these to the owner and it makes it seem like you have too much time on your hands. I'm like, so anyway, needless to say, I got really good at writing font, and now my signature on my paintings is actually tall deco, and it looks like a little watermark on there.
Nice.
But yeah, sign painting definitely could do that. They do not pay enough.
No, they don't.
No, my good friend, his dad was a sign writer. I mean, I think he had a good business, for his career, and he's an excellent painter as well. I mean, I've seen he's done, just sort of figurative work and stuff like that, and he's retired now, but he still paints. But yeah, he was able to make a living doing that.
Yeah.
And had a pretty good life, I would say.
Well, okay. So we talked about you growing up.
Job?
I don't know. He'd been retired for some time now. I mean, yes, he did it. I don't know if that business. I mean, you could probably still. I mean, he did it properly. He would. He was a proper sign painter.
There are art restorers that still do original sign painting if they're restoring something like an old gas sign that was originally hand painted, and so there is a small niche of hand painters, but it's small.
Yeah. I mean, people don't want it, but it still looks so much better, Can I tell you? But I don't know if you can do it because it's quite a specialized, I guess that you have special sign writing brushes. There's a whole craft to it. Yeah.
I still have friends in Minneapolis besides you, and one of my friends was describing how Minneapolis is changing to a walking city. And they're like getting rid of roads and stuff, or they're like slimming them down. Yeah, what's happening there?
We somehow got her who is very much wanting only young, affluent, healthy people to live in. So, like, apparently we are the most bikeable
city. Good luck with that.
In the nation. Like, we beat up Portland, and I'm like, we beat up Portland, the city that does not have 110 degree heat index summers and negative 40 degree wind chill winters. We're more bikeable than
has
that.
More biking people than Portland, Oregon. Yes.
It's funny enough, those are also the people that I want to come to my art show next month.
Like, how do you bike in snow?
But everybody's welcome.
Yeah, it's like
sometimes
if
people
you're not
have
that, you're
skis.
also welcome. I'll still be
Sometimes
blessed.
people have their front wheel, they replace it with a ski, and then they bike that. Like I've seen that in Minnesota. I've seen that in the city. Yeah.
It's like they don't want people to have cars.
Yeah.
And in order to do this, they got rid of
want
parking
that.
spots. And it's like, well, great. So if you're like an older person who can't walk that far, or you, they also got rid of like a third of the bus routes. It was done during COVID for COVID reasons, and then they never installed them or like brought them back. So public transportation was terrible in Minneapolis before the pandemic, and then it got worse during the pandemic, and now it's fine. It's fine. Just hire yourself an Uber or, bike.
Right. Get your town car.
Lovely.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
what, you don't have a limo service?
well, one thing that Minneapolis has, talking about biking, is they took out a bunch of railways and they made what's called the Greenway, where they turned these old railway lines into bike paths. So they do cut across the city because they used to be the railway lines, but you still have to bike like 20 miles across the city.
Yeah.
Don't worry though, Matt. In the future, very soon, you're just going to go on your iPhone. Technology, you'll love it. You just go on your iPhone and a little sort of hovering drone thing. I don't know, maybe it's just a backpack, and it'll just come to your door, and you just sort of sit in it, put in your straps like a fairground ride, and off you go, and you'll fly off to wherever you need to go, like about 10 feet above the ground.
Your personal drone.
It'll have like a sort of crash bubble.
So what you're saying is our future is Wall-E.
Why are you assuming I want to leave?
You want to go.
The girlfriend and I are we're looking at houses, and we're like, we're going to have a place where it's going to be self-sustainable. We're going to have solar panels. We're going to have a cistern for water, rooftop garden. We're never leaving, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
Very good.
Never leave.
Yeah, so you're just going to have your groceries delivered. Just Amazon.
No, the groceries are going to be in the backyard growing. They're just going to harvest them. Get the chickens, get some chickens.
No chickens.
You'll be able to get some gardening robots who'll tend it. You'll have little gardening drones who'll tend to your garden.
You're set.
They'll like automatically water and feed your crops without having to get involved. No humans needed.
Hydroponics is pretty amazing. I've been during the pandemic, I'm like, I'm going to grow a garden, and didn't, but did all the research, and I'm like, yeah, this is something that I can do.
But one of my favorite things you've done recently is your illegal lettuce.
I've already invited you on so she can interrupt you.
Yes, my illegal lettuce.
How is it illegal?
I love my illegal lettuce.
Made it illegal
to grow you can lettuce. Describe
it. So, at the shop, they sell lettuce that has, the roots on it. They're hydroponically grown, and they're like, our lettuce is so fresh, it's alive. Slightly morbid. Anyway, what I did was
you can hear it scream when you bite into
it. That's fresh.
So I harvested all but like a few little leaves, and then it would grow more leaves. Cut it back down to just a few, and it would grow more. I got up to 7 salads out of this head of lettuce for free, or as I like to call it, illegal salads.
You stuck it in some dirt, though, right?
Yeah.
Like in the backyard.
Yeah. I stuck it in dirt, and it grew and produced more lettuces. I just let it die one month because I just didn't come back to the studio for that amount of time. But I'm kind of terrified at how much lettuce I was able to get out of this one lettuce plant that I bought for like $3. It was very well worth it. So, and I also did the same thing with some green onions. I chopped off their heads, planted the base, and they grew more. Chopped them off, it grew more.
Yeah. I've done stuff
I didn't
like
know that. So you just you can chop off the roots of the green onion. Like how much do you chop off? Just
I chopped there was an inch left, and then I just into some dirt, and it grew more leaves, chop those off, and then it'll just send up more shoots. It's probably like wondering why I was a malevolent god creature that kept on torturing it for my daily sustenance. But
yeah, I sometimes think about that when I'm mowing my lawn. You have to you keep it mowed, and the regiments will all then behave and look nice lawn.
I think that'd be a great commercial where the lettuce screams, it goes ah, and then the guy goes, "Now that's fresh." I think that'd be a great commercial.
I'd buy it.
If it's not screaming, it's not fresh.
Yeah, if there's ever like plant life that comes to this planet, it'll be like alien to them. We're all living in these houses made out of trees. They'll be horrified.
Minnesota just invented a new tree.
Really? They invented it? Seems kind of
like the U of M of Duluth, where apparently James Cameron was having dinner scoping out filming locations yesterday. Reddit was all ablaze about that. Anyway, they invented a new tree that is able to grow 8 feet a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
For lumber? What do you need 8 feet a year of growth for?
I don't know.
It like from pine and like something else that they like grafted?
I think it's a broadleaf
pine.
Okay.
It's a what?
I think it's like they like hybridized a bunch of different trees together, like probably, I don't know, like poplar is like a really fast growing one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they had these saplings that were 2 months old and they were already 5 feet high.
So like they grow fast, and like what do you like and
for timber?
For lumber.
Yeah, you can use it for timber. You can use it for landscaping. You could also use it for carbon sequestration. Because like with plants, like all of the weight is it comes from the air. It's made up, like a plant is literally just made out of CO2 and sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you can just grow all of these trees, cut them down, bury them, and it's a very cheap, very effective way of pulling carbon out of the atmosphere.
It'd be funny if they were like highly like invasive and they ended up being like kudzu up in Minnesota. They're just huge forests, just take over everything.
Kaiju forest.
Oh no, huge forests.
Kaiju? Are you like kaiju?
Well,
yeah. Godzilla versus the tree. That'll be a popular one.
Well, I mean, Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Groot, Godzilla versus Groot. There we go. Yeah.
Wisconsin and Minnesota used to have old growth forests with, you see those old pictures where the guy's standing next to the trunk and the trunk's like, 20 feet, tall. Those pictures, a lot of them were taken in Minnesota and Wisconsin. And so now it's flat farmland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only like old growth forests are way up north, and they're still cutting them down. It's kind of bizarre, but giant trees that were like 6 feet across were just floated down the Mississippi. That's how Minneapolis actually became a town prior to the grain mills. It was just a place where they would float down all of their lumber. They would have sawmills lining the banks, and that's where where all the lumber came from.
And now they're giving back by inventing trees.
When you
that will take over, which I for one love.
Are they GMO? Are they this new tree, or is it like a hybrid?
It's a hybrid, so
it's probably
GMO, but less steps.
But like the GMO and hybriding is like I was into this for a while, and they're very different, and I feel like the public doesn't really understand the major differences between, we've been hybridizing plants for a long time, but genetically modifying them is a very different process.
And it also depends on the form, like what's the purpose of the genetic modification? I mean, like, are you Monsanto that's making Roundup ready seeds, or are you Impossible Foods that's combining a soy gene into a yeast cell in order to produce the heme that they use to make their delicious burgers?
Oh yeah, heme, yes, the secret, the mystery ingredient, or not mystery,
umami flavor.
Yeah, it's the key ingredients. Yes.
Is that
Yes.
like in blood as well? Heme? Isn't that like a
Hemoglobin.
oxygen carrying
Hemoglobin.
Yeah,
but
hemoglobin
isn't there a
is in
heme
blood.
connection with? I thought that was in human tissue, in most mammal tissue. As the
Yes,
podcast-
hemoglobin is in human blood. Heme is essentially a kind of plant blood. It's in small amounts in soy, but they genetically modified yeast to produce it in large quantities in these giant vats. And then they put it into the Impossible burgers, and that's what makes them bleed. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, the Impossible burgers don't taste bad to me, but they always taste burnt. You know, it's like this slight burnt flavor, like a patty's been on the grill too long.
Maybe they've just been on the grill too long.
Maybe the places I've had Impossible burgers don't know how to cook them.
Yeah, where are you eating them? Where do you go and get them?
Problem.
I've had them at a few.
Oh,
places.
I just get them at Target.
Target.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if-
I'm really good at cooking them. So the trick is like some little bit of salt, a little bit of fresh ground pepper, little bit of garlic and onion powder, and the secret is mushroom umami powder. You sprinkle that on there, and then you cook them up, and absolutely delicious.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
The
it sounds
umami
good.
is the secret. Yeah,
Well,
that makes the meat flavor is the secret.
So was it a hard transition going vegan then?
There are so many vegan options these days. It is literally as hard as buying a different brand.
Yeah.
I mean, like, oh no, I'm not buying Kraft American cheese. I'm buying Follow Your Heart American cheese. My only concession is cream for my coffee. That's the only thing where I'm like, not yet. But
Don't you mean un-American cheese? Un-American.
it is American.
Kraft American cheese for your heart. Un-American.
No, I mean it's very American, Chuck. In the fact that
Is
it's
this a
a
political
cheese-like
part of the-
product.
It's a free market. That's American.
It's very American, Chuck. It's probably the most American cheese.
Okay. I'm glad to hear it.
So it's like,
Because it's like
cheese
we
was
took-
created because you had a bunch of different farmers and they pooled all of their milk together like a socialist commune, and then they like added homogenizers and oils and stuff to it with rennet, and then they created this paste that is absolutely disgusting, bad for you, with heart clogging cholesterol. Like America.
Sounds American to me.
Yep, I was going to give it a little different twist, but that's about the gist of it.
Nothing more American than Kraft American cheese.
It's not cheese; it's a cheese-like product.
It's all marketing.
That's the sort of thing they would get upset at with the EU in Britain. You know, where they would, like, the Murdoch newspapers would always be going on about how they thought our sausages, our British bangers had too much. They didn't have enough meat in them, and the bananas were too bendy, and get everyone very upset.
So I don't know if we want to attempt it. We could try, but do you want to try and show us other art that you've done? Or
Yes,
would
we
it
should
be
have a look at your art. Really, we haven't.
Yeah,
yes.
we should.
Well, Amber, can you share a screen there? Amber, are you on your computer there? Is you able to pull up like a?
Yeah, I can share screen.
That's the sort of thing we should do. That's the sort of thing we should do early on with
we
artist
should.
guests. Really,
Before we
to
get
the
to
last minute.
the hour and a half mark, when I start fading, when my appreciate.
Yeah, we.
Oh, video
Let's see.
input front camera. We're gonna do
Yeah.
back camera.
There we go.
Yeah, let's have a
Yeah.
look at that. Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you
Let's go-
on the
yeah, go
big
full
screen.
There we go.
Oh no, we might have lost him. There we go.
We froze up for a second. I think usually for it to come in focus, you have to kind of like sit on it for a second. Oh, it flipped you.
Yeah, so this is the piece that he's currently working on. This one's not done yet, I don't think.
Oh, oops.
Whoa.
Oh no! No!
He's on a bit
Here.
of a sensitive connection there, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
That's okay. I got his stuff up here.
Yeah,
Is there
that,
another way to-
share your
Yeah,
screen then. Let's have
yeah.
a look at some of the things that he's got.
Let's see. Oh, there he is.
I heard something. Bloop. No video feed.
Says no video feed. No. Let's see. It should be.
There we go. Got something.
You're back again.
Yeah.
It's the right orientation this time.
Oh, now I do see. Yes, okay. I see some figure in there. There's a figure.
You hear me?
Yeah, I see.
So
it.
he
Face.
does. Yeah,
Yes.
we can
Oh,
hear
now
you.
we do. Yes.
So he does these multiple layers of reference images over each
look
other.
at that.
Yeah.
Cool. I saw some of this in the, like you said, the like thumbnail for the show.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, just super cool stuff. And then
That if they-
yeah, unfortunately Matt's on a sensitive connection.
sensitive. It's very sensitive.
It is very sensitive.
It's a fragile, sensitive connection.
Well, he is out there in
Okay.
in the wilds of Minnesota.
That's true. He's out in the woods with those new trees.
Well, he's in the woods.
I think he's in Minneapolis.
He's
actually,
in the town there.
so
But he's
what
in-
I mean, he might be in the middle of the tree revolt.
Yeah, the trees.
could be
The
the
AI's the trees. I was trying to put up my "I'm the world's first smart tree, kill all humans" cartoon. That one keeps coming up a lot.
I like the evil Groot.
the evil Groot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the evil Groot.
Here he is.
There we are. There you are.
We saw a couple pictures. I don't know if you can hear us. We saw a couple paintings. I mean,
Here, I also have. This is his website, but it needs to be updated. It hasn't been updated since 2020.
oh, is that a space caps? Or is that a with the yeah, okay.
Yeah, so this is his Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Oh, of course, it doesn't want me to log in. I have to actually log in. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay.
Give me a second, and then I'll log in, and then we'll be able to look at his Instagram.
But you stop sharing your screen so we can't log in after.
Well, I don't want you guys to see my password.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want you guys to see my password. There we go. There's Matt.
Me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we could.
Well, we got a little look. Like Amber, can you share like the links into the chat there so that people can?
Yeah,
at least
absolutely.
they're saved in
we're
the
trying
comments.
to-
Yeah.
Oh, is it
So
going?
here's your Instagram. And so let me go through on your Instagram. And
Oh, that's
so you
cool.
can see some
Oh,
of
nice.
the final touches and just how much work he puts into something.
Oh yeah.
Work, is that a thing artists should be doing? I heard it damages their brain.
This is one of the pieces in its new home.
So how long does a canvas typically take you? Something like that.
A couple weeks. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, this is the studio.
That's a nice studio.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, it looks
Here, let me see if I can zoom in a
nicer
little
than
bit.
most of the studios I've been in, like hardwood floors, and doesn't look like it's in a warehouse.
Doesn't look like it's in somebody's basement.
This is the
Like some-
piece that was
like some
accepted
studios.
into the Minnesota State Fair.
Oh, that's cool. That went to the state fair?
Yeah, that went to the State Fair.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, in my head, it was going to be like this majestic cow or pig, and it is not.
No,
Yeah.
it's cool stuff. And then this was the image that I used for our thumbnail image
Yeah, that's super cool.
of just a bunch of his stuff.
Yeah, that's nice. I like
And-
all the color and the motion in these.
Yeah,
But that
it's
could be quite a nice life, though. You could be like an old fashioned, like you'd go around painting people's horses, but you could paint horses and pigs for state fairs.
It's like what happens
Yeah.
in my mind when I'm eating Skittles.
this is the 4x4 canvas that he stretched. This is the frame for it before he stretched the canvas over it. Maybe it was this image I used.
That's crazy. It's got like a lattice on it.
Yeah, this is his palette, and then the reference that he has, and then there's the actual final, or not the final, but his process. I think that's
so wait, the references from where? Is that AI stuff, or is that just
that's the AI stuff that he stole images from and then composited it in the computer, and then he's painting from his reference that he created.
When you composited it from the computer, you mean like told the computer to like break out the blues and the
no. What I mean by that is like figuring out where stuff is in Photoshop, the transparency,
like doing the layout and stuff like that. Yes. I mean, I think artists have always sort of used some sort of tools in that part of the process, from like assembling the sketches into the sort of finished piece, and like, Vermeer would use his sort of glass apparatus, and we scale things up or down. So you can use the computer to work on the layout a little bit, and then prepare before you tackle the painting.
An early version of the painting that we saw behind him when we were interviewing Matt, and so is Matt. No, he's not here right now. Okay. I'll continue looking at his stuff. And so you can see like just about the size that he's been working right now. And yeah, just a cool.
This reminds me a bit of Bill Sienkiewicz.
Sienkiewicz, yeah.
Sienkiewicz, yes. He's reminding me a little bit of that. He's more abstract, really, but
yeah, it has a lot of movement to it.
Yeah.
And so some of these are his early versions, but yeah, that's how tight his canvas is. Oh, let's see. I think that might be him.
I want to commission one called Ravenous Spaghetti Dinner. I think it could work well with his style. It'd just be nothing but like wine and spaghetti and a flurry of hands and,
Yeah. Can we hear you now?
Sorry we had to review all your stuff without you.
Well,
yeah, we should have done that we should have led with the coolest stuff. We should have had that in the first like 15 minutes, but
that was all
cool.
we
had technical issues the first 15
minutes. Technical issues. The AI doesn't like this guest, but that's good. That's a good thing. But
sure did.
We want to have guests that continue to infuriate the AI. And
unfortunately, we can't hear you, Matt. I don't. Yeah, we can't hear you right now. It is. It's about 8 minutes to noon for me, which would be almost 1 o'clock for Matt.
Yeah.
Do you want
so it's about time to end the show.
Yeah, that's what
I don't know if Matt's got any final words for us. Matt, I don't know if you're able to put some stuff in the private chat. We can translate.
Say it for you.
No,
he can't hear us.
He can't hear us. We can't hear you. Oh, you can hear us. Okay, good. All right. Yeah. Well, he can hear us.
Okay, yeah, but we can't hear you, unfortunately, Matt. Yes. I'm so sorry. We're gonna end the show because we've been going for 2 hours. Our guest today was Matt Ollig. I am gonna invite him back sometime in the future.
Yes, please.
Because we had a lot of technical issues, and I want to be able to look at stuff and have cool conversations.
When he's got a new phone and living somewhere with a better internet connection.
Or maybe Ethernet cable hooked up to the computer.
Or he's probably apologized to the AIs for stealing their art.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, very cool artist. His website, which I put in chat, is mattollig.com. Mattollig.com. And it needs to be updated. He also has an Instagram, which I'll put in chat as well.
That's in there, I think. Yeah. Here we go. There's the Instagram.
Yeah, and so there's the Instagram. And buy work from him because he's a good artist and his work's probably going to just go up in value. I mean, I know, unfortunately, we can't hear him right now, but I know that Matt sells his work for like thousands. And
once one of those AI cars runs him over, then he'll definitely... his work
once he gets that pen.
Yeah.
Just watch out for those self-driving cars, Matt.
That signature pen.
So, Chuck, do you want to play us out?
All right, I'll play us out with the theme tune. And thanks so much, Matt. It's been great.
Thank you,
You've been an awesome guest. I'm glad we got to talk to you as much as we did. between all
cool
the
work.
misbehaving computer glitches. All right, where is our? All right, okay, all right. Here's the theme tune, everybody. Bye. See you next week. See you next Wednesday. Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Here's a theme song for Chuck Whelan Showy. He asked me to write one, but I stole from David Bowie. Here's a theme song. Chuck Whelan is the best. We have lots of hosts, but we're running out of gas. Will you be our guest on? Will you be our guest on? Be on the Chuck Whelan Show. Whoa, 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 whoa. If you're gonna have